Have you ever met someone who made you feel like the most important person in the world, almost instantly? They texted you every morning before you even woke up. They showered you with compliments. They told you they'd never met anyone like you. Within days, or even hours, it felt like you'd known them forever. It seemed too good to be true. Sometimes, it was. What if the greatest warning sign in a relationship isn't cruelty, but kindness that arrives too fast? Because not every overwhelming display of affection is genuine love. Sometimes, it's called love bombing. And the scary part? Many people don't realize they're being manipulated until they're already emotionally trapped. Today, we're uncovering the psychology behind love bombing, why it works so well, and how to recognize the difference between real love and emotional manipulation. This is Hidden Minds. Let's begin. Love bombing isn't simply being romantic. It isn't buying flowers. It isn't sending thoughtful messages. And it isn't falling in love quickly. Love bombing is an intentional or unconscious pattern of overwhelming someone with affection, attention, gifts, promises, and emotional intensity in order to gain control over them. The goal isn't always love. The goal is attachment. When someone becomes emotionally dependent on you, they're far easier to influence. Think of it this way. Imagine you're dying of thirst. Someone suddenly hands you endless glasses of cold water. You trust them immediately. Now imagine. They slowly start taking the water away. By then, you're desperate to get back what you once had. That's exactly how many love-bombing relationships begin. Here's a situation that happens more often than people realize. Sarah downloads a dating app. Within 2 days she meets someone who seems perfect. He calls her beautiful every hour. He sends paragraphs saying she's different from every other woman he's ever met. He talks about marriage before their second date. He insists they're soulmates. Her friends think it's moving too fast. But Sarah believes she's finally found the one. A few weeks later, everything changes. The constant messages disappear. He becomes distant. Whenever Sarah questions him, he says she's being needy. Now she's working harder than ever, trying to get back the affection he showed in the beginning. She's not chasing love anymore. She's chasing a memory. This is what psychologists often describe as intermittent reinforcement. Instead of consistent affection, the attention becomes unpredictable. Some days you're adored. Other days you're ignored. Ironically, unpredictable rewards create stronger emotional attachment than consistent ones. It's the same principle that keeps people pulling the lever on slot machines. You never know when the next reward is coming. So you keep trying. Relationships can become emotionally addictive in the same way. Here's another example. James starts a new job. A coworker immediately becomes fascinated with him. She constantly praises him, brings him coffee, tells everyone how amazing he is. She wants to spend every lunch break together. At first, James feels appreciated. Months later, things shift. If James spends time with other coworkers, she becomes upset. If he doesn't reply quickly, she accuses him of not caring. The affection that once felt comforting slowly becomes controlling. What looked like love was becoming possession. So why does love bombing work so well? Because it targets something every human being craves. Connection. Acceptance. Validation. Our brains are wired to seek belonging. When someone suddenly gives us everything we've been emotionally missing, it feels incredible. In fact, intense romantic experiences activate many of the same reward systems involved in addictive behaviors. Every compliment, every surprise gift, every notification, every "I miss you," they all trigger powerful emotional responses. Your brain begins associating that person with happiness itself, which makes leaving much harder once the manipulation begins. But here's something important. Not everyone who love bombs is a calculating villain. Some people genuinely fall in love quickly. Others have anxious attachment styles. Some experienced unhealthy relationships growing up and mistake emotional intensity for intimacy. The difference lies in what happens over time. Healthy love grows steadily. Love bombing demands immediate closeness. Healthy love respects boundaries. Love bombing often ignores them. Healthy love gives you room to breathe. Love bombing can make you feel guilty for wanting space. Real love builds trust. Manipulation builds dependency. Let's look at another situation. Imagine you've only been dating someone for 1 week. They've already told you they can't live without you. They become upset if you spend an evening with your family. They expect instant replies. They say things like, "If you really loved me, you'd make me your priority." At first, it sounds romantic. Eventually, it becomes exhausting. Love should make your life bigger, not smaller. One of the biggest myths about love bombing is that it always involves expensive gifts. It doesn't. Sometimes the gifts are emotional. Constant reassurance. Endless compliments. Making you feel like the center of someone's universe. None of these things are bad by themselves. It's the speed, the intensity, and the hidden expectation behind them that matter. Because genuine kindness doesn't come with invisible strings attached. Another warning sign is isolation. A love bomber may slowly convince you that your friends don't understand your relationship. Your family is jealous. Your coworkers are bad influences. Little by little, your world becomes smaller. Until they're the only person whose opinion matters. Isolation isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle. And that's what makes it dangerous. Here's another pattern many people overlook. The cycle. First comes idealization. You're perfect. You can do no wrong. Then comes devaluation. Nothing you do is enough. Finally comes occasional affection again. Just enough to keep hope alive. This emotional roller coaster keeps many people trapped for months. Or even years. Not because they enjoy the pain, but because they're waiting for the person from the beginning to come back. The heartbreaking truth. That version may never have existed at all. So how do you protect yourself? Slow down. Healthy relationships don't need to be rushed. Pay attention to actions over time instead of promises made in the first week. Notice how someone reacts when you say no. Healthy people respect boundaries. Manipulative people often treat boundaries like personal attacks. Keep your friendships. Maintain your hobbies. Protect your independence. The right person won't ask you to become smaller just to make them feel bigger. And most importantly, listen to discomfort. Your intuition isn't always perfect. But if something consistently feels rushed, overwhelming, or emotionally confusing, it's worth paying attention to. There's one final truth that often goes unnoticed. Love bombing doesn't only happen in romantic relationships. It can happen in friendships, families, workplaces, even organizations and communities. Any environment where overwhelming affection is used to gain loyalty can become emotionally manipulative. That's why understanding this pattern isn't just about dating. It's about protecting your emotional well-being everywhere. Real love isn't measured by how intensely it begins. It's measured by how consistently it remains. Real love doesn't demand your identity. It protects it. It doesn't pressure you to move faster than you're comfortable. It walks beside you, one honest step at a time. So if someone makes you feel like you're living inside a fairy tale, don't just ask yourself how good it feels. Ask yourself, does it still feel safe when I slow things down? Because genuine love can survive patience. Manipulation usually can't. If this video helped you see relationships from a new perspective, consider subscribing to Hidden Minds for more psychology and human behavior explained in a way that changes how you see the world. And before you go, I want to leave you with one question. Have you ever mistaken emotional intensity for genuine love? Or do you think you've unknowingly love-bombed someone yourself? Share your thoughts in the comments. The conversation might help someone recognize the signs before it's too late. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more insights into the human mind. Until next time, keep exploring your hidden mind.